Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So this week's update is so interesting. I have April numbers, but I also have some crazy week to week numbers to report. So tune in for this one. So let's look at our April numbers. So unofficial numbers still, there could be a couple sales that still trickle in, but by this time, a couple days into May, we should have pretty close to official numbers. So this past April of 2023, our average price was down slightly to $1,065,000. So yes, we are down a bit from March. We are up from February. So we're down about 4% since March and up just under 4% since February. So we're still just like teetering at a similar line here, going back and forth. Something that's super notable, I think, is that we sold 87 units in April, which is a massive number. In March, we only sold 68 units. And so half of those 87 units, it was actually 46, were under $1 million. Like our under $1 million price point is completely on fire right now. So with how many sales we had under $1 million, I am not surprised to see prices kind of, it's still not low, but you know, the average price being a little bit lower. And then another factor is that our 1.5 million plus, we only had 6 listings of the 87 over 1.5 million. So we have this massive amount of homes transacting under $1 million, which isn't going to pull up our average price, and very low sales over 1.5 that would normally bring it up. And in March, we saw quite a few sales over those price points. So that's a lot of the factors, is just how busy the lower price point is really, it's limiting where our average price is going to go. But I still think at 87 units, that is a massive month. Last April, we sold 89, so we're almost exactly on par. So that's sort of where we're at with the April numbers. We're almost exactly where we were in terms of average price in April 2021, which was $1,069,000. So things are pretty even to about 2 years ago. Either way, I think that our pricing is actually up. It's just that sheer volume of how many houses we had come up under $1 million and transact under $1 million. But we had 32 properties sell over asking last month. There's a lot of demand. So now let's look at like the real conversation this week. So let's look at last week's sales and new listings. This is crazy. I can't believe this is where the market is right now. Georgetown had 18 sales last week. No surprise, we're seeing very high levels of sales. We only had 8 new listings, and of those 8 listings, only one of them was under $1 million. So our busiest price point is not seeing enough listings, that is for sure. And overall, we are just not seeing the level of new listings that we would normally be seeing. This is just going to cause more supply and demand issues, and it is going to keep our market very strong, I think, this month. Looking at Acton had 3 sales and 2 new listings, so kind of even there. There was no sales in Glen Williams and 1 new listing, no sales and no new listings in Limehouse, and the rural market had 2 new listings and no sales. So looking at our active inventory, in all of Halton Hills, we were at 113 last week. We are down to 99 active listings in all of Halton Hills. I cannot believe we are under the 100 mark again. I did not think this is where we would be. We normally see inventory really picking up, and that is just not what's happening right now, and the buyers are out. So, I mean, I guess it's no surprise, but to see such a dramatic drop week to week is kind of insane. But talking about Georgetown, last week we were at 62 active listings. This week we are down to 52 active listings. The last time that we had this number, actually it was 53 active listings on our April 12th update of 2022. We had 53 active listings. Since then, our inventory has been over that number. So in over a year, we have not seen 52 active listings in Georgetown, and here we are. I am literally shocked. Again, if you can't tell, I'm like utterly shocked by these numbers, because it's just, I don't think anyone thought our market would be as strong as it is right now. And it's just going to cause prices to go up. Like, we're seeing it. There's just nothing for people to buy. And so there's a lot of competition, and prices, I know it doesn't reflect it in the average price, but it's going up, that's for sure. There's no doubt. It's just the law of supply and demand. So looking at our active price points, under 800,000 is down from 8 to 6 active listings. 800 to $1 million went from 14 active listings to 5. 5 active listings between 800 and $1 million. That's like no active listings. And that is our busiest price point. And I can tell you, because I had a listing in that price point in the last 2 weeks, I competed in it for clients in the last 2 weeks. It is like hopping. There are dozens and dozens of buyers looking for homes in that price point, and they just don't exist right now. So we're gonna see some pretty high prices coming back in that pocket, I think. The only price point that was up this week was 1 to 1.5 million. So that's up from 13 to 15. But even still, we're seeing a lot of transactions happening in that point, in that price point. And when I talked about only one property came up between or under 1 million last week, almost all the rest of the properties that came up was in the 1 to 1.5 million pocket. So no huge surprise to see it up a bit, but those are moving, not as rapidly as 800 to $1 million, but they are definitely like, they're moving at a really good pace, especially if you price it properly. And then looking at 1.5 million plus, it's down slightly from 27 to 26 active listings. So still very high in that price point. That price point is still struggling, but underneath that is just hot right now. Looking at Acton, Acton is down from 11 to 9 active listings. Glen Williams is down from 8 to 7 active listings. Limehouse remained the same at 1, and the rural market is down from 31 to 29. So another factor that we had is we had properties coming off the market again last week and not re-entering. So all of these factors, high sales, as well as still seeing some properties coming off the market and not re-entering right away, is causing our inventory to drop. So super long update today. I apologize, but I think that the April numbers are not, based on where we came from in March, are not super reflective of what we're feeling in the market, because I think our market is actually higher and better than it was in March. It's just that sheer volume under 1 million. But 1 to 1.5 million is back and active. We had a time in the fall where you could not sell a property between 1 and 1.5 million. Like, it was just dead. And now we're seeing properties, like there was one listed at 1,299. It sold, and I didn't think it was underpriced. It sold same day for 25,000 over asking, no conditions. Like, there are really aggressive and active buyers out there. And so if you have been thinking about selling your house, and you're in a position where you can like keep your mortgage rate the same, or you have a secondary, like, it is such a good time to be thinking about selling if you need to get out of your house, because the activity we're seeing, it shouldn't be as busy as it is now. And inevitably people are going to start hearing about how busy it is, and they should start putting their homes on the market. And we should see a shift by the summer. It always generally happens. This is a surprising start to May for me, but I think that as a seller, you really should be, if you are going to need to sell in the coming months, you should really be thinking about putting your house on the market ASAP when our inventory numbers are as low as they are and our demand is as high as it is. So I can't wait to see what happens in May. I think we still are going to sit with pretty low inventory in May. I think it's still just going to teeter. I would be shocked to see as big of a drop week to week as we've seen, but who knows at this point. So I'll be back next Tuesday with the numbers. Have a great week, everyone.